my channel. Today I'm doing a really exciting video. I'm doing a book review of Genuine Fraud by Lockhart. Now, the first book I ever read by Lockhart was We Were Liars. When I read this book, I was a reader, but I wasn't that much of a reader. So when I read We Were Liars, it really got me into reading again. That was my favorite book right after I read it. Like, I thought it was so good. And so I was really excited for Lockhart's Genuine Fraud new novel. This released the 5th of September, and I was so lucky. I was in London the 5th of September in the bookstore at Waterstones, and they had a signed copy. Oh my god, isn't that beautiful? Okay, so that might be overreacting for those of you who have like 16 signed books, but I'm really excited because this is my first signed book ever. So you can imagine the hype, right? I also read The Disreputable History of Frankie Lando Banks by Lockhart, and I absolutely love that book. I thought it was amazing. And this one, I didn't read anything about it before I got into it because I knew that I was gonna read it no matter what. But after reading it, I looked at Goodreads, and there's a lot of people saying that it's falsely reviewed as a thriller or a mystery and that kind of thing. And really with this book, like also with We Were Liars, you can't rate it as anything because it's gonna ruin the story. As soon as you put like a book like this into a category of being a thriller or mystery or contemporary or wherever you want to put it, it ruins the entire story, and you just kind of have to take it as what it is. And that's, I think, when people really enjoy it. But I can tell you, I really like this book. It's really hard to explain because it's about this girl called Jewel. It starts with Jewel at the end of the story. So this book has 19 chapters, and it starts in chapter 18, and then it goes backwards in chronological order, but backwards. The whole story takes place over a year, and it starts at the end of that year, and then you kind of get to follow her story backwards. So it's a little bit confusing, but once you start reading it and you get into it, you completely understand why the author did it like this. If it would have been told the other way, it would have been a super boring story. And so you kind of get to figure out and bring the pieces together as the story is told. Jewel is a really interesting character because she's 18 years old, so she's the exact same age as me, and she is like the whole entire year, which I thought was really fun. Jewel is this not gorgeous character. She's a little bit bigger. She loves to be tough. It's kind of like showing the beauty of a tough girl. And what I do really like about Lockhart's books is that they're so romanticized in a way that they shouldn't be. There's something very twisted about the story, and you won't really realize it until halfway through that there's something absolutely wrong, and you don't really know if it's the main character that there's something wrong with, or if there's something that's happened to her, or like you don't know. And I really love that when books do that, when you kind of get to figure out the story as you go. And there's a moment when you think like, aha, I get it, but you really don't. Like, you don't get it until the end, and that's what I really loved about this book. I read this book so quickly. It went so fast for me, and I really recommend it. I have a hard time rating this book because it is a little bit sick at times, like the way the story is told, and at the end you're left with all these questions about Jewel and who she is and that kind of thing, but I think that it's all completely worth it. You know, Jewel is a very smart character. She's very talented and she's very smart. I really like that in books when Jewel, for example, she knows so many languages and so many accents, and she's really good at switching like personalities and dressing up and kind of like switching her identity and stuff, which I thought was a really fun aspect. And I feel like the whole reason for this book existing is kind of to show that you can't underestimate a girl just because she's a girl and she's 18 years old, you know? And she's really kick-ass, but she is a heck of a strange character. What I love about this book as well is that all the characters are very flawed. And since it goes backwards in time, you get to see the end of the relationship with a character before you see the beginning of it, which I thought was really interesting when it, even in the relationship part and not even in the story evolving part. Even with Imogen, which is Jules' best friend, you get to see their end of their relationship before you see the beginning of their relationship, which I thought was really fun. And also this other guy called Wello, I don't really know how to say it, which she has a slight affection for. You see the end of the relationship before you see the beginning, which I really, really enjoyed. And throughout the story, you always knew how it was going to end in a way, except that the 19th chapter is at the end, so then it's like you get the resolution, and I love when books do that, like when you get the resolution at the end. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I do highly recommend this book. I gave it a 5 stars. But if you don't go into it open-minded, I can completely see why you really hate the book, and you kind of have to be able to deal with the fact that you don't know, that you're a little bit confused at the time. I've read so many books, I feel like that it's okay for me when things are confusing because I know the story is gonna solve it at the end, and I thought this book did really, really well. Absolutely love this color as cover as well. I love the green color, it's beautiful, and the Jennifer with the hair and the cutting, like you get, the title is just so fitting for this book, but obviously I won't spoil anything more. Yeah, highly recommend this book. Please read it. If you have read this book or any of E. Lockhart's other books, then do comment below. I hope you guys enjoyed this review and that you got inspired to read the book, that I answered some of your questions. If you have any other questions about the book, then please comment them below and I will definitely answer any of your questions. Until later, I hope you guys all have a really, really lovely day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye!